welcome to the Pikeville City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Jill Fraley-Dotson, as always joined by Pikeville City Manager Philip Ellswick. Today, of course, we're going to have a special guest with us, a new face to our community and to our beloved Expo Center. Paul Bowles is with us today, and we have a lot to discuss, gentlemen. Thank you so much for making the time to chit-chat today.
Well, thank you. It's always good to be here.
It is. You know, Philip, we are entering a very busy time for the city. Not that it's not always busy, but the holiday season especially, there are so many things going on and so many things that we like to do. We're going to hit on some of those things today, but you do have a guest with you, Paul Bowles. Introduce him quickly, if you will.
Yeah, Paul Bowles is our new general manager at the East Kentucky Expo Center. He's been with us about a week and getting settled in nicely.
And the first thing you want to do is put him on television.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Wreck him in right.
We're going to talk quite a bit to Paul in just a few moments about where he and his family come from and his vision for the Expo Center. First, I do want to talk to you about some great events that have happened just in the past few days, and that is the special announcement with Inner Blue, and we're going to have a groundbreaking really soon. Right,
yeah, we're really excited about that. You know, we've talked in the past about a grant from the Abandoned Mine Lands program to fund a building for them. And that grant has been awarded, and we've executed all the documents with the Commonwealth. And that resulted in an agreement between the city and Inner Blue that kind of dictates how their progress will happen on the site. And the property will be transferred in phases. So we executed that last week, and that now allows that project to begin the final design process. An architect has been selected. So they're wrapping up the plans now, and those have to get some approval from the state, but as soon as that's done, we can bid that for construction. And just to demonstrate how close to that we are, at Inner Blue's request, we procured a construction manager for that project. And it's always been my experience in my prior life as an engineer that you don't hire the construction manager until you're ready to begin work. But at our event, we announced that there will be a groundbreaking on that project before the end of the year, and construction will be ongoing earnestly in January.
Do they give any indication of how long construction will take once once ground is moved?
It's a 60,000 square foot building, which is very similar to the spec building we just built. So it'll be about a 12-month construction period.
And it will go pretty quickly.
It
seems as though everything goes at rapid pace, and when you say 12 months, we know that that's not a very long time.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, so we're all excited about that. Of course, a lot of the planning and the property acquisition has gone up there. So when you talk about Enterprise Park, really it is starting to take such great shape with now the two tenants.
Right, with the agreement that we have with Inner Blue about how the property is transferred over time, the park, for all intents and purposes, is completely full. There's a couple of, well, maybe 3 smaller lots that are still available. One about 5 acres, and then a couple of them about 10 acres. So there's still room available for some smaller developments, but mostly the park's complete.
Well, we're excited to
Absolutely.
see a lot of jobs, 875 jobs from Inner Blue coming to our area.
That's
so
right.
that is such great news, and we're happy to see that
Definitely.
starting to come to light. We have some updates we want to bring to our community. It's something we've talked about a lot on previous shows, but we have a lot of construction updates, construction projects that have gone on and around the city.
Right.
So let's just kind of update, and we'll start with the Mini Ground Playground.
Okay, the mini park. Yeah, the mini park playground there was a shipping snafu with some of the parts for that project, so it is nearly complete. As soon as those parts get here, it'll be wrapped up very quickly. So it's a little bit hard to say when we're going to get those, though.
But we're working on it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the Dispatch Center.
Dispatch Center, the renovation is ongoing. There's several different phases of that project. There's, of course, carpentry work that needs to be done, and pouring concrete, and extending fiber, and a number of different electronics there. So we're progressing through each one of those steps, and they all kind of have to happen one after another. So we hope that'll be done in the foreseeable future, near future.
And what about the soccer field, the retaining wall?
That's complete. That work was done, and rebuilt some retaining walls that have been there since the field was originally constructed, and we're beginning to bow a little, and just to protect the stability of the field, we needed to replace those.
We talked about Inner Blue at Enterprise Park, but also Silver Liner is making a lot of strides.
Silver Liner is very near completion. By the end of the year, we expect that building to be complete
Wow.
and turned over to Silver Liner, and then they'll begin construction in early 2019.
And if you've been to the downtown area, you can't help but notice the building that is being built at Big Sandy Community and Technical College. A lot of renovation, or not renovations, but new construction going on there. How's that looking?
Yeah, that project will be complete, I think, early 2019 as well. And that's a great addition to the city. It's going to bring a lot of folks here for training that otherwise wouldn't be here without that building. So we're excited to have that. It'll be a great addition, good training for people, not just locally, but nationwide, really.
We've had a little bit of a break in the weather. The last few days have been fairly warm, latter part of October, 1st of November, but a lot of our striping and paving projects some are ongoing, but most are completed.
Yeah, the paving is complete aside from the downtown areas. And that just requires some coordination between UMG and our contractor to ensure the streets are cleared and milled before we pave them. But we've done a really good job this year with keeping that going and routinely, and then following up quickly with striping behind that. So I'm really proud of the way that project's worked.
We have some upcoming events at Jenny Wiley Theater. The parking lot there is getting a facelift as well.
Right. There's always been a public parking lot behind the theater, but we expanded that some, built a retaining wall closer to the sidewalk on the Hamley Boulevard side, and we'll make that much easier to navigate as you're parking and getting out. It's always been a little tight, but this will help tremendously.
The Radio Red meter replacement, is that finished?
It is not. It's ongoing, but we think it'll be done by the end of the year.
Again, lots of things getting finished right at the end of 2018 going into
That's
2019.
right.
So no doubt there's going to be a whole new slate of projects for
Definitely.
the upcoming year.
Always.
Do you want to ask you about the wastewater treatment plant though?
Right. The wastewater treatment plant is about halfway through the construction. A lot of the work has been completed. The membrane systems have not been installed yet, but that project's moving along and progressing very nicely. And we're actually using that facility now, as we've talked about. Although we're upgrading it and remodeling it and renovating it, we still have to process sewer before it gets discharged. So we're using some of the new components that have been constructed while we wait for the remainder of it to be completed.
One of the things that we always discuss when we talk about how efficient our communities are going to be is the addition of broadband and the expansion of broadband in our areas. When we have new businesses coming in, certainly the Expo Center of the downtown area of Pikeville and the Enterprise Park all need to be working effectively. So let's update everybody and talk a little bit about broadband.
Right, the broadband project is something we've been pursuing for some time, and we just view that as being critical to the continued development of Pikeville. The ability to attract businesses plus retain students and the younger generation that expects those type of services. So we have issued a new request for proposals that would identify a company that was willing to work with us in a way that they would fund the construction up front, and we would repay that over the terms of the agreement, or over the term of the agreement, excuse me. And we opened those proposals last week, and we're reviewing those now, and we hope to be making a decision shortly. Should we be able to reach an agreement with one of those two companies, and we hope construction will begin very soon. And it'll be done in 3 phases. The first phase is the kind of central business district, or as we say, inside the horseshoe, plus some of the other areas outside of that. It includes the industrial park, and then phases 2 and 3 will complete everything within the city limits.
Exciting times.
Absolutely. That's a great project, and we're really excited to get it off the ground.
Certainly so. Well, we mentioned at the top of the show that we have a guest with us today. It's not often that we have guests, but certainly when we have new members to our community, and certainly going to head up one of the jewels of our city,
Definitely,
no doubt.
right.
We do want to welcome Paul Bowles. Thank you so much for being here. I
Thank you
know,
for having me.
like I said, the first thing that Philip wants to do when everybody comes in that's new to our community is bring them on the show. So we want to officially introduce you to our audience today, and talk a little bit about the Expo Center, your vision for the Expo Center. I know everybody always talks about wanting to know what the next shows are and what you feel like that we can bring in that's new. So We're going to take a few minutes. Philip, first I want to ask you, though, about the search process for someone to head up the Expo Center. It's been one of, like I said, it's one of the jewels of our city. We have so many things. They're not just concerts and events. You know, recently we had Nightmare on Main that was a massive success, as
Absolutely.
always. But it's not just for concerts. It's not just for things like Nightmare on Main. It's used on a daily basis. So
Right.
talk about the search process. When you wanted to find someone to head up the center, what were you looking for?
Well, we were looking for somebody that certainly had experience in this industry, that had a great deal of experience booking shows with tremendous success. And you know, we truly did a nationwide search for the replacement for Cindy Collins, and we had a number of applications from across the country, very qualified people. But we conducted the first round of interviews with, I think, 10 of those individuals. And then we conducted a second round of interviews. And in the city, we use kind of a committee approach to hiring. And a number of our city staff were on the interview panel, plus some outside individuals in the community. A member of our Economic and Industrial Development Authority, because we view the Expo Center as being integral to the economic development efforts that we have ongoing. And then a member of the Tourism Commission as well, because obviously that's a tourist attraction. So we wanted input from a wide range of individuals. And after the first round of interviews, we narrowed that down to 4 finalists that we wanted to interview again. We brought those folks back, interviewed them, again narrowed that down to of course, the finalists, the one finalist, met the commission, interviewed with them, and then we selected Paul at the end of that process. So we feel like we got the best candidate in that group, of course, and the best person for us for that job.
A nationwide search just led us to one state over.
That's right.
Have been in Salem, Virginia for a number of years. So tell us a little bit about yourself, about your family, and then we'll get into the meat of the issues.
Actually, I was born in Florida
Okay.
to parents from Virginia. Not
Real
sure how they made it to Florida, but I was a product of that. So, but I have spent most of my life in Salem, and my wife is actually what we call a Salemite, and bleeds the burgundy and silver and all that good stuff. I've always kind of been the odd man out since I was originally from Florida, but I started my career at the Civic Center in Salem when I was 16, in high school, part-time job, cleaning stands and setting tables and tearing down shows, and just worked my way up from there. And probably in 1994, I switched over to the event side or event management side of the building, and did the logistics for events. I wasn't doing booking as much, or mostly I was taking over after shows were booked and confirmed, doing the logistics, working with the promoter and the different facets of that, of making sure that the show happened on time. And probably somewhere around 2015, I switched gears and started doing the booking side of it. And like most buildings out there, concerts was the thing that we were lacking. And so I said, well, I'll take a stab at that. And I started probably in November of 2015 was the first show that we did. And I think Salem announced its 35th concert last week, since in that time frame. And just working with the different other events that come along with that. I mean, concerts is kind of your driving force to go after those shows. It's getting your name out there. People are hearing, East Kentucky Expo Center, and when they're thinking of a meeting place, hopefully that's what they think of, and these residual events come off of that. So though it's a driving force, it's not the only thing. And I view the East Kentucky Expo Center as it's the entertainment hub of Eastern Kentucky, and with that, it should be doing its shows. There's more venues out there than there is people touring, but there's still enough shows to go around. And I think it also has to get back to its community side. It has to look at those civic clubs and those church groups, and those are the actual salespeople of the facility. They're the ones that's going to be talking to the visitors of Pikeville and talking about how we accommodate people there and how great the staff is. And it's just a circle that has to be in motion, and it takes every asset of it. It's not just the national events, but it's even the local events that make it successful. And that's my goal, is to make it the entertainment hub of Eastern Kentucky.
Well, certainly you're on the right track. Talk a little bit about the comparison, if you will, with our space here as opposed to the one in Salem.
Well, there's not a lot of comparison. Salem Civic Center was built in 1967.
Okay.
We just celebrated our 50th year. This is very nice. Actually, I made that comment to Larry Miller, there, our operations manager, that when he said, the old girl's starting to show some age, and I said, buddy, you have Taj Mahal here. This is a beautiful building. But size-wise, Salem was about 6,000 seats, so we're going after the same type shows. Obviously, Nashville and LA and New York all think we're a country market, and it's the same here in Pikeville as in Salem, Virginia. And that you have to convince those people that, country's good, but some people like to listen to other stuff too. And rock is a very hard door to open, but it's not impossible to open. I'm happy to say that, in Salem prior to 2015, our last rock show was 10 years before, about probably 2005. And they've now, I think we've done 5 rock shows in Salem since that time. So it's a tough market, but it's possible, and it's just getting the right people on the phone and describing the market to them and saying, hey, you can make it work here. Just give us the opportunity and we'll show you. And that's really how it works. And you just you got to be aggressive. You got to get out there in front of it and say, these are the shows we want, and take no a lot as an answer, and just move on and keep finding someone until they say yes.
Keep working hard. You mentioned Larry Miller, and I know, Philip, you have been so complimentary of Larry and the staff at the Expo Center in the interim, because it's been a couple of months since he's been completely gone, and Larry and the staff there have really taken on a huge task to make sure it still runs appropriately and effectively and efficiently, and they've done a remarkable job.
They have done a remarkable job. We had a number of events in the interim between Cindy's departure and Paul's arrival, and they went very smoothly. Lots of compliments from the folks that had those events, and I'm really proud of the staff that we have there. They did an excellent job. They're great people, very, very well qualified, and Paul has a great team to build on, and a lot of great people to help.
Yes.
Yeah, working with a few different shows there personally with Larry and the staff, it's amazing to me what they can pull off in a very small amount of time, and as a person who has booked events there before, and you have a lot of you're a little bit nervous about how things are going to be pulled off, and you're really afraid that things aren't going to work, and then to have Josh and Larry and Andrea there to kind of help you along, it's amazing how they really put your concerns at ease, and when you walk in, everything is set and ready to go, and it goes off without a hitch. So
and those guys are what helped sell me on Pikeville. The second interview coming up, and Philip gave me an opportunity to walk around the building and walk with Larry and talk to those guys, Josh and Adrian. It really is what sold it for me. I went back to my wife and I said, this is just too good to be true. Yeah. She goes, what? I said, the staff is amazing. They're just very eager, very excited, very positive people, and it's a tough market to be positive in, because you do get told I know a lot on events, but those guys are just great, and it was really what sealed the deal for me. It was that I really want to work with these guys.
They are a great bunch. They certainly are.
They certainly have a can-do attitude, and customer service is their utmost priority, and no matter what somebody asks for, they're going to do their best to make it happen. So.
And they do. They go above and beyond. So congratulations on a great staff you're walking into. Let's talk about some of the shows. You mentioned shows that you want to bring, like rock shows. We are, people think that we are a country market, and we do have a lot of country shows, and certainly those are well attended. But there has always been talk of wanting rock shows. So when you say rock, what kind of groups are you talking about?
Well, I think right now the active rock side for an arena that size to fill, because rock's really kind of taken a hit the last few years. But the Shine Downs, the Five Finger Death Punch, the Breaking Benjamins, Papa Roach, Godsmack, those, 5,000 is not an unheard number for them to sell ticket-wise and still make money. There's some acts you can sell 5,000 tickets and you still haven't got close to paying them off.
Right.
So, but those guys are still in that range that is compatible with this building. So, those are the ones we're going to go after and try to get them on the books. I mean, obviously, there's the classic rock side that's still out there and is still playing a huge part in the industry. The Alice Coopers and the Foreigners and Poison has been back out, and Tesla. But we kind of mix it in. You have to look at the event center as being, it's there for everybody, not just a group of people, but it's for everybody. So, I want to do the Christian shows. I want to do the oldie shows, the country shows, the rock shows, something for everyone. And that's kind of what the goal should be. We're there for quality of life. And, that's what you want to give people, is what they want to see, and not just say, this is the best we can do, please buy a ticket. No, let's give them what they want.
You have some big events coming up too. I know we have November 11th is going to be a big day for the Expo Center. Also, Diamond Rio is coming for a Christmas show. You have, the name escapes me, but it's the Cirque Musica.
Cirque Musica.
That's it, Cirque Musica. It's going to be a great family show right around Christmas and the holidays. And talk a little bit about those shows and how ticket sales are going.
They're being the new guy. I haven't quite got in depth with the box office yet. Kelsey, by the way, does a fantastic job as well. Don't want to leave her out, but I haven't really dove into those yet to see where we are. But I know Josh, it seems like every day he's telling somebody somehow, whether it's social media or a yard sign. So, I think they'll pan out to be okay. And in the same process, we're still looking for others to fall in behind them.
We have, like you said, it's not just the concerts, but it's event space, it's meeting space that people tend to forget about, especially with your larger civic groups. We have a whole catering lot that we can do for businesses wanting to have events there. So talk about the event space. I know it's, like you said, it's new, you're new, but the upstairs of the Expo Center and the banquet rooms are really phenomenal.
Yes, the ballroom is beautiful room, a beautiful space, and it should be utilized by the people of Eastern Kentucky and Pikeville mainly. The Rotary clubs and the Kiwanis clubs and church groups, and we've really got to put a focus on that, get back to those roots of why we're here. We're actually here for the people of Pikeville. So what can we do to help them out? Not so much as the concert where we want you to buy a ticket, enjoy yourself. We're helping you out. You need a large space, we have it, and we want to be accommodating to you in that regards.
Yeah, we want it to be, as it has always been, an integral part of our community and really for our people here, not just in Pikeville, but all of Eastern Kentucky,
Exactly.
like you said,
That's right.
because especially, and you'll learn this when basketball season starts, it gets to be a crazy place and a fun place for a lot of different events. So love seeing it used and being it booked for wonderful things.
Right.
We do have a lot of events coming up in town, Philip, that I do want to mention before we run out of time. Like I said, we're, beginning of November, Shop Small Saturday is coming. I know Minta is all over that one. We'll talk about that with our tourism show, but this is really when we see people start coming into our area to shop, especially with the Commons. So let's hit on how we're inviting people to use Pikeville and Pike County for their shopping.
Yeah, we've recently upgraded our tourism website and launched a tourism app, which I'll leave that to Jimmy Taylor to talk about. But both of those things are meant to draw people to Pikeville. We've included all the information about shopping in the area, restaurants, things to do. So we've given everybody the information that they need to give them a desire to come to Pikeville. So. Additionally, Minta Trimble, the Main Street Director, is doing some events designed to bring people downtown. She always has her Shop Small Saturday, which I believe is November 24th. And then we'll have the Christmas parade and the tree lighting as well. And she always has events surrounding those to keep people in town. And then finally, we have our Winterfest, the ice skating that we started last year and we're repeating this year. And it'll be the entire month of December. And Jimmy Taylor and Andy Linton have been I guess they borrowed a page from Josh's book, but they've been really marketing and bringing a lot of attention to that. They've got a number of school groups that are already registered, and we're just glad to be able to offer that and to bring exposure to the downtown area and our downtown merchants.
I do want to mention too that if you want to go to the city's website and you want to book any of the facilities that are available, and we tend to forget that a little bit, just
Right.
go to the website. If you have birthday parties, you have church groups, showers, any kind of banquets that you want to have, the city has a number of spaces available, not just the Expo Center, but Bob Amos Park, the shelters, the Garfield House that are being able to be used by city.
Yeah, we have a couple of community centers in addition to the expo. You can book those at pikevilleky.gov or at our tourism website, visit pikeville.com.
And I know that we always invite people to our commission meetings.
That's right. Second and fourth Monday of each month. And now we're into the holiday schedule, so those dates will be moved around a little bit. But you're always invited to come to the meeting, speak to the commission. And, as I've said before, you're always welcome to call my office with a complaint or compliment.
Or a compliment.
Either way.
That's right. We always want to leave that out.
And we'll do our best to address those as quickly as possible.
And as transparent as
Definitely.
possible.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you all for joining me today. I know we always have a lot to talk about, but Paul, certainly thank you for being here. Welcome to our community, you and your family, and best of luck at the Expo Center. I know we'll be seeing more of you. Philip will have you back occasionally and more often probably than what you may want.
He never said that was in the deal.
He never tells anybody that. But we do welcome you anytime and
Thank
certainly
you.
wish you the best of
Appreciate being
luck
here.
and are thrilled to have you with us. And as always, thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
And we'll do it again in about a month.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
This has been the Pikeville City Managers Report. Thank you so much for joining us.